It is the mantra of a movement started in Ferguson, Missouri, after the shooting of unarmed black teenager Michael Brown by white police officer Darren Wilson. Hands up, don't shoot spread across America like wildfire, from Ferguson to New York to Los Angeles. Hands up, don't shoot! To the halls of Congress, to the NFL football field, even CNN contributors throwing up their hands. There's only one problem. Federal and local authorities say the evidence shows hands up, don't shoot didn't happen. But few have read the nearly 100-page report. We did. Here's what the witnesses closest to the incident who spoke to federal investigators and the grand jury say. Witness 102, a biracial male, for sure that Brown's hands were not above his head. Witness 104, a biracial female with a clear view of the scene, says she heard the shots fired inside Wilson's car that hit Brown in the hand. She then saw Wilson hop out of the car and yell, "Stop, stop, stop." Brown ran, then turned around, and for a second began to raise his hands as though he considered surrendering, but then quickly balled up his fist and charged at Wilson. In a stunning admission, she told investigators Wilson waited a long time to fire his gun, adding, "She would have fired sooner." Witness 105, a 50-year-old black female, says she noticed Brown put his hands up for a brief moment, but then turned around, made a shuffling movement, and put his hands down in a running position and ran towards Wilson. The report shows Officer Wilson was justified, but in this case at least, the facts can't stop a slogan. Sarah Seiner reporting for CNN.
5 years ago on Friday, one single event changed the landscape of Ferguson, social media, and racial equality. Tonight, a look back at the day-by-day events that unfolded after Michael Brown was shot and killed.
He put his hands in the air.
Ferguson police claim shots fired nearby and the crowd prevented them from moving Brown's body.
They killed this boy for no reason, and there should be justice about this.
St. Louis County Police stepped in. The next day, Chief John Belmar told the public Officer Darren Wilson shot Michael Brown in self-defense.
Within the police car, there was a struggle over the officer's weapon.
Late Sunday evening, massive looting hit Ferguson. Cell phone videos showed the lawless chaos along West Florissant. Windows smashed at Quick Trip, people grabbing what they could, then later setting it on fire.
Oh, wow.
Looters broke into about 20 businesses that night. This was Zizer Tire on Delwood. One person enters, then hordes of people take what they want. The same thing happening at Hibbett Sporting Goods store. Police responded with riot gear and tanks, a move police called necessary, but would be criticized nationally. The next day, Monday, August 11th, Michael Brown's family held a press conference.
We need to know everything.
Tuesday, August 12th, more looting. Reverend Al Sharpton arrives in St. Louis.
I just want to know, why would people loot in the area they live in, where they say they don't have no resources, and destroy buildings and property near their homes where they say they already don't have no resources?
It makes no sense. It's a great question. Also, how did the looting help what happened to Michael Brown? How did that help? Say that because I think that the problem with that situation was the officers said that Michael Brown reached for his gun and tried to pull it from him, and then Michael Brown's people said that he was there saying hands up, don't shoot. So there's a contradiction. That's why Taj was saying earlier off camera that this is what really started the body cam footage so that issues like this wouldn't happen anymore. But say that the people who are on Michael Brown's side were correct. How does looting help that at all?
It don't. It's just gonna make businesses not be around there, and it's gonna be more of a food desert,
like
resource desert.
So those people running in there to get that free stuff, you think they were doing that because they cared about Michael Brown or because they wanted free stuff?
It's also interesting that the way they try to frame, like, and I'm not saying this is like justifying what happened to him. I'm not saying this makes it okay, but I just hate how like they always make it seem like when something happens to someone and it's white on black or cop on black guy, they make the black guy seem like he's just some great guy, but it came out later that Michael Brown like had a history of like robbery and like drug abuse and being like a problem in the community. Knowing that he had a history of that and that they say he tried to wrestle with the officer for his gun and stuff, I mean, like, is it really like tearing everything up really the right way to get justice?
Tearing everything up was never the right way to get justice, even if Michael Brown was unjustifiably killed.
Again, I'm not.
We don't have the facts.
And again, I'm not justifying what happened to him. I'm just saying, like, they just making it.
But you can't justify looting ever.
Yeah.
That will not help your cause. Dorian Johnson was Michael Brown's friend, and he helped basically start the whole movement with Black Lives Matter in Ferguson, Missouri. I guess what you would call a Black Lives Matter activist. And he was very outspoken about what happened and was basically his most credible source of saying that his hands were up, don't shoot. And he had a lot to do with the Black Lives Matter movement. And he was just shot dead right in the same city where this happened.
Well,
so
they said he was actually shot right down the street from where Michael Brown was just killed from, literally by that apartment complex.
Wow.
And I think he was there when Michael Brown got shot.
He was there.
He was walking with him.
So let's hear what he has to say. This is an old clip of him after Michael Brown, but it's just sad because it just shows that Black Lives Matter doesn't care about black lives, because literally one of the leaders of Black Lives Matter was killed by
another black person.
You can guess
probably.
it.
It's crazy. You think they're gonna riot, loot, or protest for this man?
No, they are not. That is okay. So what does that prove here? What does that prove here? That they don't care about black lives. They just want an excuse to loot and do all that shit.
Or the race hustlers get the hustle.
Al Sharpton and all those people, the Democratic leaders who profited off of this, the people who started Black Lives Matter and bought houses and all that off of this, they really are the ones throwing dirt and spitting on Michael Brown's grave, doing all this for their own narrative and money and whatever reason it was.
And once my friend felt that shot, he turned around and he put his hands in the air and he started to get down, but the officer still approached with his weapon drawn and he fired several more shots.
That's Michael Brown right there. That's the footage of him. That's a robbery, actually.
That was right before it happened.
So that's why the police were called to Michael Brown in the first place right there. And that was Dorian Johnson basically giving his side of the story. That's why, body cam footage is vital. And but it just, again, Black Lives Matter is not speaking about, they're not crying about this at all,
It's about profiting off a tragedy more than anything.
Flashbacks to Ferguson and the killing of Michael Brown Jr. This man, Dorian Johnson, was with Michael Brown the day he was shot and killed by police. Now we're learning Johnson has been shot and killed. Early this morning, shots were fired in a Ferguson neighborhood and rumors started swirling about who was involved. That shooting happened on Abaco Court, just east of West Florissant Avenue. First Alert 4 started making phone calls to find out if the rumors were true, and we have confirmed the man shot and killed at the scene was Michael Brown Jr.'s friend, Dorian Johnson. Our Jordan Burrell joins us in the newsroom with more details as reaction begins to pour in tonight. Jordan.
Yeah, good evening, Morgan. It's a sad Sunday for many in Ferguson and beyond tonight. Many mourning the loss of Dorian Johnson, the man who made national headlines for being the friend who was last with Michael Brown Jr. before he was killed. On social media, people call the 33-year-old a St. Louis and Ferguson legend that is gone way too soon. The man and friend of Michael Brown Jr., Dorian Johnson, was there when police shot and killed Brown more than 10 years ago. First Alert 4 spoke to him shortly after that incident. He recalled the death of his friend.
He shot again, and once my friend felt that shot, he turned around and he put his hands in the air and he started to get down, but the officer still approached with his weapon drawn and he fired several more shots.
On Sunday, 33-year-old Johnson became a victim himself, not even a mile from the spot that his friend was shot and killed 11 years ago in the 9,000 block of Abaco Drive. Ferguson police say they were called around 8:30 Sunday morning for a man that had been shot. They say Dorian Johnson later died at the hospital from his injuries. First Alert 4 reached out to Dorian Johnson's family, but they have not responded. We spoke to his grandmother, Brenda Johnson, back in 2015 after Johnson and his brother were arrested. She had concerns about Dorian and their family after he made national headlines during the Ferguson unrest.
Dorian has this target on his back, so it makes it easy. Well, if we can't get to you, we'll get your brothers, we'll get your family, we'll get anybody that's close to you.
Ferguson police confirmed that an individual in custody and warrants have been applied for with the St. Louis County Prosecutor's Office. While the investigation continues, an outpouring of love and support for Johnson and his family floods social media timelines. In 2015, Johnson filed a civil rights lawsuit against the city of Ferguson, the former police chief Thomas Jackson, and the officer who shot Brown. That suit was dismissed by both parties at the end of 2024. Live in the newsroom, Jordan Burrell, First Alert 4.
All right.
No
Black
lie.
Lives Matter not saying a word about this. They don't care about people dying. They only care who pulled the trigger. If it was a white person who killed this dude or a police officer who killed this dude, it would be an uproar and looting again.
Maybe I wasn't paying attention. Did they say why he got shot? They just say he got shot in the neighborhood.
They don't know why, but they arrested the person who did it.
They said the dude claimed self-defense.
The fact that the person was not a police officer shows they don't care. They don't care that the person died. They only care if they can find someone to blame and make the scapegoat and act like they really care when they don't care. These are really evil people. They do not care that anyone died ever. That's why when people die every weekend, they never.
One thing, I'm sorry, bro. The fact that Michael Brown was leaving a crime scene and got killed. When he was, we saw the foot. We don't know exactly what happened, but he was leaving a crime scene. The police was trying to, hey, you committed a crime. He got shot. This guy just got killed by a black man. We don't know. The fact is
he died.
200 in 2024, only 200 black men got shot by a police officer. In 2024, almost 13,000 black men committed a homicide. Is that so? What's the biggest threat to a black man?
Well, actually, I saw a stat that a lot of those people were actually armed. I think I saw Charlie Kirk say, I don't know how accurate it is, but he said 13 unarmed black people were killed by police in a year. 13 only, unarmed. So
he committed a crime and y'all were crying.
He committed a crime. We saw the video of the crime. The police got called, and there was an altercation, and he died. Yes, it is sad that he died, but looting and all of the uproar, and then now another black man dies who was an activist for this. No, not a word from Black Lives Matter. Not a word. So do they care about people dying or not? They don't. Clearly.
Black Lives Matter. They don't care if we kill each other.
They don't care. They do not care. They only care if they can profit off of it, guys. And that is sickening. We will call it out. It is sick that this is why we do what we do. Because we're sick of black people dying. And sometimes you have to tell the hard truth. And maybe it comes off offensive. Maybe it comes off mean. But at the end of the day, this is an issue. A huge, huge issue, guys.
This video itself is the biggest contradiction in the black community of all time.
It just shows they don't care about people dying. They only care if it gives them a narrative.
If it's a white person doing it.
Yes.
And make niggas feel like they still in slavery.
Carmelo and all that.
Yeah.
They had more uproar for Carmelo, someone who killed somebody else, than they did for this.
Yeah, that's facts.
Well, I ain't really hear about this being reported like that because nobody going.
Why don't they report it?
Because it's normal.
It's black on black.
Won't help them.
12,000 stories in 1 year.
Be too many. It's sick, y'all. We out of here.